Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy, happy Halloween.
Hello, Peggy.
Hello,
happy
dear.
Halloween.
Yes. Ian McNulty, food writer for the Times Picayune, New Orleans Advocate. Hey, Mr. Ian. Hello, dear. Hi. And we have, of course, Alfred Richard, who is the movie critic for WWL TV. Hello, Alfred.
Oh, hello there, Peggy.
With his snack. And Alan Smason of theatercriticism.com and the Crescent City Jewish News. By the way, I am wearing a spooky chapeau here, right? Actually, it's very pretty. Made locally by carnivalcouture.com, and I purchased it at the great gift shop at Jam NOLA, that brand new exhibit that's part of the NOCA complex in Marigny. Miss Poppy, if ever there was comfort food, it's a pie.
That's absolutely true, Peggy. And these are pies that are a long time coming to retail. And that we are talking about Nicole Iden and Marielle Dupre and Windowsill pies. Now, Peg, I don't know when you got to know those two ladies, but I did at the WYES Chocolate Sunday back in 2015, if you can believe that, when they won first place for the most amazing chocolate pie I'd ever tasted. And they have been at this there they are, those hardworking girls. They've been at this since 2011, and finally, last week, they were able to open up their bricks and mortar store that's right there on Ferret Street. They're only open for takeout right now, but oh my goodness, now instead of a whole pie, you can buy a slice of pie any day. They've also got 3 or 4 different flavors of hand pies that they're offering every day, both sweet and savory. Wednesday's very popular over there because that's chicken pot pie day. They're open Wednesday through Sunday from 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. and then 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. on the weekends. But what I want to tell you all is that you've got to think now about ordering your holiday pies because it's going to be wild over there. How about, almond-laced apple pie, their signature vanilla bean bourbon pecan pie, my favorite, amaretto pear and dried cherry pie. Oh, Peggy, they're so delicious. They had an apple and cheddar with Grand Marnier hand pie. That's my kind of breakfast, okay? So go by. Have pie for breakfast. You know, in lots of parts of the country, no beignets, pie for breakfast.
Really? All right. Well, Poppy, a quick question. First of all, when we say hand pie, we're talking about what we're used to with UBIG's pies, which we hope one day will return. Okay, but that's what a hand pie is. Then. Okay, thank you so much. And no word on UBIG yet.
Right.
No word on UBIG yet. Correct? No. Oh, well,
I'll let you know.
I know you get the scoop.
Thank you, Peg.
Thank you. Over to Ian, and the world of local microbreweries is getting a little bit brighter, isn't it?
Well, Peggy, we've been covering, as the different phases roll through and reopening, how it's affecting different industries. And one that was really severely affected was the local brewing business, because this is it's not just like a style of place or a concept. I mean, it is an industry that is homegrown and had been growing quite a bit in recent years. Well, the pandemic hit them very hard. They are allowed to continue operating. They can keep brewing beer. But many of the breweries rely on their tap rooms to be a key part of their business, but also a key part of their identity of how they interact with people. And this goes from the largest, Dixie Beer out there in New Orleans East now, to the smaller neighborhood breweries that have cropped up around town. So for many months, they were busy. They were brewing beer. They were making a dizzying array of styles of beer, but their tap rooms had to remain closed under the coronavirus safety rules. Well, those changed, and the tap rooms are back open. And Peggy, the reason this story was so timely was because these beer gardens that they have, these tap rooms, these spaces that these breweries have made, they're really these oases in the city, and they never feel like more of an oasis than now. The weather's nice. These places are outside. It's easy to maintain that social distance that's so important right now. They're family friendly. They're all ages. They're often pet friendly. And in addition to getting a great taste of beer, you can sample some of the pop-ups and other food truck ventures that partner up with these breweries. So they're like these little microcosms of creative homegrown businesses, and it's very important that they survive this crisis. They're creating jobs and creating an industry. And I have to say, creating some really amazing beer. I mean, it's way different from 2 or 3 different varieties in the old days. Now there's dozens on the board at any one time at these places, and they keep changing as new collaborations come up. It's been really interesting to see them grow across the scene, across brewery to brewery. Now, caveat: many of these are closed right now due to the power outage as we're speaking. So, check to see which ones are open if you want to plan an outing over this weekend in particular. But put them all on your radar. With the nice weather, it's fun to hop around, maybe on a bicycle, see a few of them, meet up with friends, again, at that social distance that those outdoor beer gardens are so good for.
Right. I love some of the names. Zony Mash has got to be one of my favorite, more creative names. Just like to say it, Zony Mash. Anyway, thank you so much. And we move over to Alfred, and on this spooky holiday, there's a really bizarre movie with a bit of a local connection, huh?
That's true. The movie is called Synchronic. Now, it stars a true New Orleans native. He is a actor of note. He's been in big blockbusters like the Marvel Avengers films. He also has worked in Quiet Times. Anthony Mackie, he's also a devoted supporter of Warren Easton High School, and I've done several things with that school and his I Am a Man.vote group. He teams up with Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades of fame. They portray a New Orleans pair of paramedics in the film Synchronic. When they're called out to a call for assistance, they discover a package of a new psychotropic drug, and their friendship gets put to the test as they start to experiment and deal with the effects of this drug. It, in many ways, reminds me of an Inception, the type of thing that we saw in Christopher Nolan's Inception. I like the interplay between Jamie and Anthony. It works very well here. Synchronic, rated R. It is available at theaters, and of course the same I'll say with Ian, because we're in a situation with power shortages. Check to make sure if your theater is open because of a power outage.
So, Alfred, some of it was shot in the old Jazzland complex, wasn't it?
That's right. The old Jazzland complex you saw in that picture, the Ferris wheel, the old Jazzland complex was being used in this, and so who knows? Jazzland is a rather scary place to be in anyway, so I guess that comes to mind.
Very much so. Okay. Plus, you've got what? On the Rocks is still around, huh?
On the Rocks, really good performances. You know, Bill Murray has come the gamut from being a comedic legend to now doing serious work, and he stars in this film, On the Rocks. Again, it reminds you so much of Lost in Translation and that dry, sardonic wit that Bill Murray carries on. It is showing at the Broad Theater, of course, at 636 North Broad. I feel like I want to say Seafood City, North Broad, on the North Broad Theater. And for those of you, again, if you can get out to those theaters, especially the AMC. I had the opportunity earlier to pass by the AMC Elmwood. There were several Entergy trucks working on the power grid in that area. So you may or may not find it operational, but if you do, you will find that AMC theaters have some $5 favorites to get you back into the theater, especially with a Halloween bent. What else? A new Halloween classic, Hocus Pocus, with Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy as the three sister witches. I was trying to make sure I got that out right. And it's a really great for the family, a really great fun. And V for Vendetta. That one stars Natalie Portman, Hugo Weaving as Vendetta, and the late John Hurt. Really good. A film about a dystopian future of political intrigue, kind of familiar, as it were, but it's a $5 favorite at the AMC Theater.
Dystopian with a capital D. That is one grim movie. Very
grim movie, indeed, yes.
All right, Alfred, thank you so much. And over to Alan and JPAS. They're still doing what they can, huh?
Well, for the last few weeks, Peggy, we've been talking about, some limited showings for people with comedy offerings and a little bit of cabaret, et cetera. Well, now you finally get to see some theater. It will be theater for one, as it were, because this is going to be The American Soldier, starring Douglas Terrell. Douglas grew up in Texas. He was the product of two proud immigrant parents. His father was Jewish and had fled the Nazis on his way to Argentina before becoming an American citizen, while his mother was Colombian. He was immersed in American culture, though. His father was impressing upon him how important it was that the U.S. soldiers went to Normandy to save, quote unquote, his people. And later on, Douglas became interested in acting, and he got married. He was in New York, and he ended up doing some research. And what that research involved was America's wars. So he actually takes records of letters, like the Sullivan-Ballou letter that we all know from the Civil War, and he actually has put that and other letters into a piece called The American Soldier. He's going to have every conflict except the Spanish-American War and, unfortunately, the forgotten war, the Korean conflict, which will not be represented, but everything else from the Revolution War through Vietnam all the way to the Afghanistan conflict that we've had. Douglas Terrell will be commenting on it. It's a powerful one-man show, and again, it's going to be only this week only, 2 days after the election, starting up Thursday and on through next Sunday. Again, I hope that people will check with it. It's going to have a whole lot of different topics, drugs and alcohol, etc. That's going to be at the Westwego Socially Distanced Theater. Check it out for yourself. Meanwhile, I want to just go over real quick. I want to thank Natasha Raymer, who directed, and the entire cast of Insulted Belarus, with Casey Groves as the despot Alexander Lukashenko. We had New Orleans actors Emily C. Russell, Andrew Larimer, now in Austin, Kevin Maku, Andrew Vaught. A big shout out to Kathy Randalls, who portrayed Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, the woman who was rightfully elected to the presidency in Belarus. And also, all of them were welcomed at the end of the show by Andrei Kuricek, the playwright. It was actually seen worldwide by over 1,300 people, Peggy. So those of you who want to check it out, go to YouTube or possibly on Facebook. Check that out on those different sites there. And finally, I just want everybody to know that there is a piece over at Le Petit this week. It's going to be a virtual stage reading of works by esteemed Black poets, and it's essentially an anthology of Negro poets based on Louisiana native Arna Bontemps' collection from the 1950s. Check it out. It's only $5.
All right. Thank you very much. And this Halloween, there is a real treat for fans of Morgus the Magnificent. Our friends at Channel 4 are actually broadcasting a rare 1961 episode of Dr. Morgus' show. That's tomorrow, Halloween night, in a tribute to the star and creator Sid Noel, who died in August. The episode that you will see tomorrow night has been restored from film, so it looks better than ever, and it's vintage Morgus. Here's a preview.
Well, you should be getting drowsy by now, Chopsley. Should be quite drowsy. This will put you to sleep. Oh, hello, my dear lovers of science, doctors, and friends of medicine. As you can see, I'm in the process of putting my dear assistant here, Chopsley, into a deep sleep, at which time I'm going to connect the artificial heart machine by, first of all, cutting an incision right here in the chest, and then pulling the heart out, and... Wait a minute. Well, what's the matter? Oh, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, Chopsley. Look, if I ever failed, Oh, don't be silly. I've never failed at anything. Now just relax. Besides, Dr. Belcher. Yes, Dr. Belcher's on his way here. We must get the machine hooked up to somebody so we can show him how it works. Look,
Master, you can't let him in. The machine hasn't worked yet.
don't be silly, Eric. If this machine didn't work, I would not have invited the doctor here.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master. You can watch that very special episode of Morgus The Magnificent. That's tomorrow night, Saturday at 10:30 p.m. on WUPL. It's channel 54. That's also Cox Cable Channel 2 and Charter Cable Channel 16 on the North Shore. And over to Poppy with a new pizza place.
Well, the pie talk is just going to continue now, Peggy,
right.
because actually that brilliant Doug Wallner, who owns NOLA Brewing, has decided to put a real New York-style pizzeria inside of the brewery. What better place? And he's calling it NOLA Pizza. And this new project is open from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. starting Sunday, okay? That's the day that you can get their New York pizza. And what they have figured out, you know, how in New Orleans, we're always saying, oh, you can't make New Orleans French bread anywhere else. You can't get a poor boy loaf because it's in the water. Well, that's their point here, because they, through reverse osmosis, they have recreated the mineral and pH content of New York City's water. And so it's fantastic. And they have red pizza versus white pizza. So, you know, your typical mushroom meatball sausage on the red. The white pizzas are divine, like ricotta, provolone, garlic, and Parmesan cheese. And they've hired a culinary director, Brandon Bird, he's got some serious restaurant chops, but he also has some serious New York pizza experience. There's a lot more than just pizza. They have pizza by the square. You don't have to get the pie. They've got real New York hero sandwiches like that eggplant and mozzarella. And they even have a crazy dessert I've never thought of before, these Nutella rolls. So all of that with 20 beers on tap. I can't wait to try out the authenticity of this New York water theory. How about you?
Very intriguing. Thank you. And back over to Ian. Ian, the columns, a big update, huh? Big news.
Columns Hotel has been part of St. Charles Avenue so long it feels like a landmark, like the streetcars rolling past, those live oaks that stalk the avenue. Well, it's been around for a long time and it now has new owners, a new direction, but the same foundation, the same roots. The hotel changed hands late last year, and it's been quietly progressing through a renovation these last few months, and it is now opening in phases. Now, Peggy, the columns, I have to say, it's one of those places where everybody has a story about it, right? And I think it's because it's so accessible. Here's this grand mansion on St. Charles Avenue, and yet it's as approachable as just going in for an afternoon cocktail. So many people across New Orleans have different stories about it. And the new owners of it, the people who have redeveloped the columns, are very aware of that. They want to keep those stories coming. They want to continue the narrative of what it has been. They're calling it columns, just columns. Although the columns slips off the tongue awfully easily. And the rooms are coming along. They'll start booking the rooms upstairs later this year. But right now, what you'll see if you go in is a major portion of the revamp for columns, which is the food and drink, the restaurant and bar portion. That's now being run by Schenkel Stoltzfus, who made his name Coquette, which to me is one of the leading voices for contemporary food in New Orleans. He and his team are running the kitchen at Columns and the bar. So that classic bar that you saw there, with the coffered ceiling, that timeless ambiance, now has a new cocktail program. And across the patio and the porch and the dining rooms within, you can get a taste of Chef Mike's menu, which is a more casual approach than Coquette, but has that same idea of starting with regionally relevant ingredients, some Louisiana influences, but applying a modern lens. Here it's a little more casual, a little more fresher, lighter approach. It's 21st century bar food, let's put it that way. So they're open now. With the power outages, you never can be quite sure, but I talked to them on Friday afternoon, and they were open for business. So you can stop by, check out the porch and patio. The patio now sprawls out across the front yard. It's landscaped. There are all these little niches tucked into the sides of it. It's a very artful and thoughtful approach to bringing the columns back up through for the next generation. So I've been impressed with what I see, and I can't wait to go back, frankly.
What a setting, too. Thank you so much, Ian. And, of course, back to Alfred, because if ever there was a pivoting going on, the New Orleans Film Society, which is New Orleans Film and Video Festival, has had to figure it out, huh?
They've had to do that just like everything else. I mean, considering the New Orleans Film Festival was this great event where thousands of people would be coming in from all over the country and all over the world to congregate. Can't do that right now, unfortunately. So they have decided to retool the New Orleans Film and Video Festival into a virtual festival online, and with some performing at the outdoor Broadside or the Greenway. That's going to be used as a theater, I guess you could say, as a venue. And one of the films that's going to be featured at the Louisiana portion of the New Orleans Film and Video Festival is a film called Nobody May Come. It's about a local New Orleanian who is a real treat. Her name is Valerie Sassafras. You may have seen her playing in different venues. I've seen her play, of all things, at a 610 Stomper Ball. But she's also gone as far as working at the Old Piccadilly on Jefferson Highway, playing her music, her female empowerment as well. And this documentary is about her life and how she lives here in New Orleans. It's going to be shown on Saturday, November 14th, 7 p.m. at Film New Orleans, the open-air cinema at the Lafitte Greenway, which is very near to the Broad Theater. And you can see it also available online on November 15th. The Film Festival and Video Festival starts on November 6th through the 22nd. There's the address at NewOrleansFilmSociety.org. You can get more information. And they are going to have a new venue as well to work with. Our good friends at the Britannia Theater, we know Britannia Uptown. Well, they're now doing Britannia Canal Place.
Yay.
The old Cinnabar Theater is now going to be taken over by the Britannia, and they will run it. And their grand opening is November 6th, the start of the New Orleans Film Festival. Perfect timing. Good job for the Brunet family.
Thank you so much. Yes, and God bless the Brunet family. And moving over to Alan, a Halloween happening that you're making happen, huh?
Absolutely. You know, for those that want to enjoy the holiday just a little bit early, I urge everybody after Steppin' Out tonight to tune into what would normally be the NOLA Theater Talk Show. We're going to have a fantastic opportunity for people to enjoy the holiday just a bit early, including, listen to this, playwright Ariadne Blade reading an original work of hers titled Henry and Eleanor. We're going to also have a little cartoon, the original Snow White by the Fleischer Brothers. We're going to put that out on tap. Those of you may remember the Fleischer Brothers were responsible for Popeye the Sailor Man. The Reverend Andrew Ward has a work for the holiday, as well as Tim Fahey doing a piece on Stingy Jack. And you'll learn a little bit about Halloween legend with that. Many thanks to Tim and his wife, of course, Lena Prima, who edited the fantastic video. Marshall Harris is still slated to sing I Put a Spell on You, but a little scary because we haven't heard from him with the power up. We don't know whether it's going to go on. And then I'll be reading my own scary poem called Scary Stuff, an original piece. That'll be right after tonight and archived forever on the NOLA Theater Talk group, Facebook group, as well as theatercriticism.com Facebook page and my own YouTube channel. Check that out. Also, Peggy, I know that we've talked a little bit about radio plays and things of that sort because people are trying to fill in the lack of theater space with space that's online. Resounding.live is a group that has actually taken it a step further. 3D sound, 2 different sound engineers, actors across the country all coming together. The first is going to be Dracula, starring Tony nominee Norm Lewis. This is going to be fantastic. It's showing on Saturday night as well as 7 p.m. Tickets are $20. It runs about an hour. It is a little pricey, but if you've heard the sound, it is glorious. Next month, they're going to actually be doing Treasure Island, so check that out. Also want to remind everybody, this week, the stars showing in the Shows Must Go On, they're still coming in from England. And one of those is Simon Callow, who actually portrays William Shakespeare on stage. People say it's the next best thing to seeing the Bard himself. That's going to be on the Shows Must Go On from now until Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And don't forget the Seth concert series this week. Beth Malone stars, the first openly gay person to play an openly gay character on Broadway in Fun Home. She played the adult Alison Bechdel. Hopefully you'll see that again on Sunday night and then repeat it again on Monday.
All right, thank you so much. And now we have our picks of the week. Poppy.
Oh, Peggy, Celtica, that bakery that we've been talking about, I noticed a sign that said Viennoiserie Patisserie. And then I brought home a piece of their opera cake. They were sold out today, so I don't have a piece to show you because I ate the one I bought 2 days ago. It was exactly like taking a taste trip to Vienna. If you have ever eaten in a cafe there, that opera cake will take you to Vienna.
Right. Thank you so much.
Do some taste travel with me. Right. It's all about taste memory, isn't it?
Okey-dokey, absolutely. Ian. Mm-hmm.
Steak Knife Restaurant is back. We've been tracking restaurants that have reopened in the pandemic. Well, here's one that was fixing to reopen in the pandemic. Then a fire broke out at Parlay's Bar, just a few doors down. Put it out of action for a while, but it did reopen. However, right now, caveat, power is out. So stand by for Steak Knife to return yet again.
Thank you. Alfred. Mm-hmm.
The Britannia Uptown, we can say, has 3 choices, one for the family, one for the adults, and one for those who give into it absolute pleasure. The family film for Halloween is Casper, the Friendly Ghost. The more adult film is, of course, The Exorcist, with Linda Blair, and Rocky. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so break out your fishnets and high heels and give yourself in.
Thank you. Alan. Mm-hmm.
Well, Peggy, over at Delgado Community College, Michael Aaron Santos and his people have been working on a virtual piece called She Kills Monsters, Virtual Realms. It's going to be showing November the 13th, 14th, and 15th at 7 o'clock. I want to remind everybody, tickets are only $10. Check it out. You can call Delgado College at the number there, and hopefully I'll see you at the theater.
Absolutely, and I have a little bit of show and tell. We want to thank Maria K. Chetta for these wonderful Tootsie Roll Pops, the Ghost. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
And also, look at these great cookies, and I think we have a tight shot of it. A wonderful local cookie maker. Look at this. Woo! Joan Mathis, man, can she make beautiful cookies. Look at those. Those are the sugar cookies. And once again, thanks for Maria Kay for sharing this with us. And burlesque artist Trixie LaRouche has got a special big deal burlesque at the Cannery. That's Halloween night. Check it out on Eventbrite and with all the details. Thank you all so very much, and thanks for watching. Good night.
Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.